Hello, my name is Sam, and for my English 111 multimodal project, I decided to show my past watercolor paintings that I've done and show my journey through my third one that I have been currently working on from middle start to finish. Now, throughout high school, I've always looked at the art students' projects, and they're all really amazing. And so I've always wanted to take one of those art classes and learn from the one teacher that taught them all, Miss Duranlo. And so junior year, I took painting. And throughout painting, she was teaching acrylic majority of the time, and I really struggled with that. And one of the last subjects we were on was watercolor. And so for our first project, we had to do a watercolor of a flower. Now, as you can see with this one, this is my very first painting, but even though I personally don't think it looks great, I really enjoyed the entire process of it. And so she told us for our final project, we can do any painting, we can do it with any type of paint. And so I decided, you know what? I enjoyed this. I'm going to continue doing it for my second project. And so for my second watercolor project, I did it on a snake. Now I know that's a huge jump from flower to an animal, a very detailed animal, but I wanted to show my teacher that I am capable of learning a lot more. And throughout this entire time, I always looked up to her. I asked her for hints, asked her to guide me in a way to do this. And this was my end project, and I enjoyed it. As you can tell, it's not really finished, but I still enjoy it. Now for this, I was painting a moth. I started to become really interested in like insects, butterflies, moths, and I wanted to do watercolors of them because I believe they would be very beautiful. I was starting this out my beginning time at Northern, however, I stopped midway through around like October, November, and I didn't really realize I had this still until I came back home. And so I decided, hey, why not just finish this project? And so, as you can tell right now, I painted the wings. I have a little bit of detail outside of the butterfly. And from here, I'm going to show you how I went to finish this project. Now, right here, these are the paints I used. I have a darker shade of green, a lighter shade of green, a light brown, a black mixed with gray, light blue, yellow, and kind of a pinkish purplish color. Now, I put these on glass shards because when you do watercolor, you mostly depend on the water for this. And so when you put it on glass, you can easily move around the paint once it's wet. And the more water you add to the paint, the lighter the paint gets. And so it's a lot easier to have a movable surface to where they can just easily spread. So for my first step right here, it's very important that you go for the lighter colors in the painting before the darker colors, because if you mess up basically on a darker color, you can't really change it. And so right here, I did the highlights of the flowers underneath the moth, and from here, I would continue to do the details, which is here in the second step. Now, you can also tell right here, I added some more highlights because I wasn't really satisfied with the light color that I did beforehand. So I did the lighter color and then added more shading to the flowers as I continued. I really was happy with the end product of this. And so I made sure that it was perfect. Now for the wings, you can also tell I added a little bit more detail to it, a little bit more shadowing. And you could kind of see the lines on the wings. But that's because I wanted to be more detailed than it was already. For my third step, I continued to add more details. As you can tell on the moth's body, I added the lines as well as the dark features on it. Now, I had to be very careful with this because, like I said earlier, with the dark features, it's very hard to try to fix it because once it's there, you can't really fix it. It's always there because as you can tell, I have a red dot at the bottom corner, and that's from one of my markers I accidentally got on there, but I couldn't really fix it, so it's just there. And then finally, we move to the end product. So for the end right here, you can tell I tried to line up the wings on the ends, try to add a little bit more highlight to it so it seems more realistic. And on the background, there was supposed to be leaves back there, but I realized how much more work it would be. And so I just wanted a light color, so I mixed the light blue with the same color I used for the flowers. And so that kind of gives it this nice little aesthetic look. And with a brown pen, I created the antennas on top of the moth. And as you can look back at the dark, like bottom corner, you can see the red dot right there that I said and talked about before. Like I said, once you get a darker color there, it's not easy to fix. But at the end, I'm very happy with how this turned out. And I feel like I definitely want to continue this. It's really relaxing. It is very time consuming, but I really do recommend like people to try this out. It's really cool. It just takes a lot of practice, and I know that I have a long journey ahead of me to continue on this. Yeah, that's it.